Hey everyone, Jaguar Williams is back in the news again, this time releasing bombshells about an alleged alliance between Diddy and Will Smith. Rumors of a little something going on between Diddy and Will have been circulating for years, with claims of a covert affair happening right under our noses. But hold on tight, because that's not even the wildest part about this whirlwind Gordner. Will and Diddy allegedly involved young boys in their antics, including Will's own son Jaden. Jaguar claims that this is only one piece of the complicated puzzle that Will and Jaden's relationship has always been. In a recent interview, she revealed all the details regarding Will Smith. Diddy and Jaden also seems to be supporting her because he was seen criticizing his mother Jada on camera for allegedly allowing Will to harm him and failing to do action. The Smith family is more broken than we realize because Jaden brought a lot of baggage from his family. Everyone in the industry is aware that Diddy has been acting in this way, attempting to get other men to perform with him, and trying to get Chris Brown. There are also stories about him trying to get Chris Brown's brother, Chris Brown, and other young boys who were part of his group B5 or something similar. There are many stories in this industry about Diddy and other people that you are all familiar with. Although Jaden and Willow ended out good, it appears that Will and Jada Smith may have overstated their claim to be the best parents in Hollywood. According to Jaguar, Will and Jada may not take full credit for Jaden and Willow's achievement. Jaguar isn't one to hold back, and you know this, but this time she's spilling all the tea. She's not only calling out Will and Jada as subpar parents, but also suggesting they've been somewhat harmful. According to her, Will supposedly sold Jaden to Diddy and Jada was allegedly in the loop. This could explain why Jaden's relationship with his folks seems strained, even leading him to seek emancipation at just age of 15. Now we've got to address the elephant in the room: Will and Jade's parenting skills, or a lack thereof. It's time to discuss how they may have nearly derailed their kids' lives, because this conversation is long overdue, y'all. Let's kick it off with the fact that Will and Jada don't exactly follow a parenting playbook that they've been preaching about for years. They've claimed to be against punishment and prefer giving Jaden and Willow their freedom as long as it doesn't backfire later. Well, in the 2013 interview, Will famously said, "We don't do punishment the way we deal with our kids is they are responsible for their lives. Our concept is as young as possible, give them as much control over their lives as possible, so when they do things you can do anything you want as long as you can explain to me why that was the right thing to do for your life." Now back then, this statement caused quite a stir, since teenagers aren't exactly known for having flawless decision-making abilities. Many felt Willow and Jaden were flying by the seat of their pants as parents, giving their children so much freedom at such a young age. History has shown that this type of parenting rarely works out, but it turns out that Willow and Jaden may have exaggerated a little bit about their lack of a strict discipline system. Willow spilled tea about herself, admitting she often found herself in trouble as a kid. Even more intriguing, she revealed that there was a gender-based double standard between her and Jaden in their upbringing. According to her, she faced harsher CONF consequences simply because she was a girl. She dropped these bombshells during an episode of Jada's infamous talk show The Red Table Talk between how black moms will treat their daughters and their sons. Oh, for sure. Oh my goodness, it would be like, "You might like, you better get up to me." It'd be like, "Oh no, 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 school's about to be, you better get dressed, we need to get thee." And it would be like I'd be in my room like, "Okay, I got to get," but then Jaden is there. She'd be like, "MC," and Jaden would say different too, and he'd be like, maybe one moment." It definitely adds a twist to this whole narrative, doesn't it though? Jada is always going on and on about how she's a feminist and all that, but somehow she was giving Jaden special treatment simply because he was a boy. But then Jaguar's recent allegations about Will and Jada allegedly exploiting Jaden makes you wonder if there was more to Jaden's preferential treatment that meets the eye. If Willow was indeed punished for her actions, it kind of makes us wonder if Will and Jada completely misrepresented their parenting style and lied about it, because it sure seems that way. If they were truly practicing what they preached, Will would have enjoyed the same freedoms without fear of repercussions there. was a lot happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, and Jaguar was on it about Will and Jada not exactly being loving parents. Take for instance when Willow dropped her first hit IWHI My Head Back and Forth back in 2010 at the tender age of 9. The song was everywhere. We all got to see how talented Willow was even back then, but here's the kicker: Willow was so young and unprepared for the pressures of fame that she refused to even perform the song while still in elementary, simply because he was a boy. But then Jaguar's recent allegations about Will and Jada allegedly exploiting Jaden makes you wonder if there was more to Jaden's preferential treatment that meets the eye. If Willow was indeed punished for her actions, it kind of makes us wonder if Will and Jada completely misrepresented their parenting style and lied about it, because it sure seems that way. If they were truly practicing what they preached, Will would have enjoyed the same freedoms without fear of repercussions. There was a lot happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, and Jaguar was on it about Will and Jada not exactly being loving parents. Take for instance when Willow dropped her first hit IWHI My Head Back and Forth back in 2010 at the tender age of 9. The song was everywhere. We all got to see how talented Willow was even back then, but here's the kicker: Willow was so young and unprepared for the pressures of fame that she refused to even perform the song while still in elementary school. She confided in her father about it, but he dismissed her worries and pushed her into the studio. Nevertheless, I had to forgive you and Daddy because of the whole thing about my hair, which was mostly Daddy's fault because he was very harsh at times. I trusted that no one would listen to me or care about how I felt at that time. It wasn't that you didn't want it, rather, they weren't listening to how you wanted the experience to be at that particular moment. Willow was all about putting her up to be the ultimate breast baby without caring about what she actually wanted, which just adds enough dimension to the whole hypocrisy angle. Willow claims that she knew for sure that she wanted to be a singer, but she wanted to take things gradually and finish school first. The idea of letting a 9-year-old do their own thing doesn't quite correlate with pushing them into the music business, and the fallout from the whirlwind release of My Hair speaks loudly. Up to be the ultimate breast baby without caring about what she actually wanted, which just adds enough dimension to the whole hypocrisy angle. Willow claims that she knew for sure that she wanted to be a singer, but she wanted to take things gradually and finish school first. The idea of letting a 9-year-old do their own thing doesn't quite correlate with pushing them into the music business, and the fallout from the whirlwind release of My Hair speaks loudly. Willow struggled with her mental well-being in recent years. She's courageously opened up about wrestling with an identity crisis triggered by her sudden fame, kind of like just in this gray area of like, who am I, like, is there, like, do I have a purpose, like, is there anything like that I can do besides this? But if forcing her into the studio wasn't bad enough, Will became even more controlling over Willow's career, even though she made it clear that she wanted to stay a child and enjoy her childhood. Will and Jay weren't willing to listen to her, and they forced her as a child to go on tour with Justin Bieber for a month. It's like they weren't even hearing her out. Willow was so upset that she took this drastic change in stance by shaving her head in protest against her parents' tight grip over her life. She wasn't whipping nothing back forth. It's just heartbreaking to imagine how hurt she was to reach a point where she had to shave her head as an act of rebellion. It's so upsetting to think that Will and Jada's obsession with money overshadowed any concern for Willow's mental well-being. They should have known better, even their own experiences in the spotlight and the toll it takes on the child. But in later interviews, Willow bravely admitted that the pressure of fame coupled with the lack of support at home took a severe toll on her mental health. It led to depression, pushing her towards self-harm. As a means of coping, thankfully, she managed to overcome depression through years of therapy and learned how to navigate fame while protecting her mental health. She also made the bold decision to drop her last name, now simply going by Willow, as she associates her surname with the pain and trauma of her early years. But Willow wasn't the only Smith child who had to deal with her parents obsessing over their career as a child and forcing them to start making money as a child. The same thing allegedly happened to Jaden, because Will and Jada forced him into acting at the age of only 8 years old. His first movie was Pursuit of Happiness, and then his major movie was The Karate Kid, and it was a major hit. But just like Willow, he wasn't exactly eager to dive headfirst into Hollywood at such a young age, which is understandable because at that time he was 11 years old. But just like Willow, Will and Jada didn't seem too concerned about Jaden's desires, and they forced him on set. Luckily, this worked out well for Jaden because he found his footing on set and fell in love with acting while there, however, just because he eventually warmed up to it doesn't mean he forgave his parents for forcing him into something that he didn't feel ready for. Reports indicate that Jaden felt betrayed and lost trust in his parents' ability to support him, but resentment continued to fester until he eventually filed for emancipation from both of them at the tender age of 15. During that period, sources claimed that Jaden harbored so much resentment towards his parents that he couldn't wait to come of age and gain legal independence from them. He was eager to break free and start living life on his own terms away from his parents' overbearing control. According to Jaguar Wright, it's pretty crazy that Will was obsessed with micromanaging his kids' careers when they should have been enjoying their childhoods. It's not like the Smiths were struggling financially and needed the extra cash. Will and Jada seemed to be more focused on their own aspirations, without considering the toll it took on their children. Yeah, well, Jaguar definitely didn't hold back, claiming that while Willow may have suffered due to her parents' actions, Jaden had it much rougher, and it's not just because of the embarrassing entanglement drama. According to Jaguar, it's due to Will. In a recent interview, Jaden's mother accused her father of having a covert relationship with Diddy and subjecting him to harmful experiences. She also accused Jay and Will of selling Jaden to Diddy, something you had previously discussed. At the time, Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock. Since then, Jada Pinkett has written a book in which she claims to have attempted suicide several times. Sue, I'm not sure why she keeps trying. It seems like she just gets it. I'm not sure what the specific reason was. Don't be bad at everything. Then you were a passable actress, a horrible wife, and a horrible mother who knew that your husband was abusing boys and mistreating your son, but you told me everything nevertheless. Jaguar also claimed that Jada's entanglement with AUST Selena was a power move against Will. Because of this, she proved it when she AUST Elena. Oh man, yeah y'all, it's wild. But then there have been rumors of Will and Diddy having something going on for a while. One of Diddy's former bodyguards has also exposed him for being gay and doing some intimate things with another rapper who the bodyguard didn't name. Puffing this artist run out the room naked, and the artist said, "You ain't want to come up in there." It was a lot of freaky going, laughter on. Now, for those of you youngsters who don't know Will Smith's backstory before he became the actor we know now, he was a rapper, and not just any rapper, mind you, because he was getting awards for his rap. He's won 4 Grammy Awards in rap categories, so you know that he had to be doing this thing back in the day. So when the bodyguard talked about Diddy getting into it with another rapper who was also an actor, the pieces of the puzzle started falling into place, and fans started to speculate that Will was Diddy's alleged rapper-actor concubine. Suddenly things started to click, and we realized that there was much more to their relationship that meets the eye. These alleged shady rens with Diddy might just explain why Diddy was the first step in diffusing the tension at the 2022 Oscars after Will hit Chris Rock, and Chris were going to solve that like family at the Gold Party. Okay, but right now we're moving on with Love Everybody. Make some noise. Yeah, looking back on it now, it certainly seems like there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and when you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, well, it's kind of hard to ignore the rumors that have been swirling around about both Will and DY for years. It's got people wondering if there's more to their friendship that meets the eye. Now, I know there are many people thinking that Will couldn't possibly be on the DL or have an affair because he's married to Jada, but not only that they have been one of the longest marriages in Hollywood, but that doesn't count for nothing because they also have one of the messiest and most chaotic marriages in the history of mankind. Things started to unravel for them after August Alsina exposed their shady entanglement and revealed that Will had given him the green light to purse to Jada romantically. Yeah, that definitely shook some things up. I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. He gave me his blessing, and I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life. Even more shocking, Jaguar claimed that Jaden was not the only person that Diddy and Will allegedly used. They claimed that they used to be mentoring younger men in the industry, but it was all up front for them to use these young men, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Being a Jaguar, Meek Mills was not hesitant to mention those names. This is a long-standing rumor about Will's hidden. Asher Gray left that house screaming, and August was the only one that stayed. I believe he was truly sick and needed the help. Along with the accusations, there are also reports of improper behavior directed towards younger guys. A few months ago, Dwayne Martin and Will were very close, and Will's former bodyguard and friend Baylor delivered some bombshells about it, along with some surprising claims. Though it was through Dwayne and his wife Tisha Campbell that they would eventually cross paths with Jada, who later became his spouse, things allegedly took a turn when Dwayne ignored those marital boundaries, potentially contributing to their separation. Some speculate that Dwayne's motive could have been to have Will all to himself, planning his introduction to Jada under the pretense of friendship or something like that. Speculations about Will and Dwayne go back to the 90s, when they first bonded on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Their connection was deep, with Dwayne even hitting it off with Will's afterwards. The strange thing about this is that Dwayne also attempted to break up Will and Jada because he was spending so much time with Will that it was straining their marriage, according to an insider at the time. Will spends a lot more time with Dwayne than he does with Jada and the kids, and as time goes on, Jada is becoming more upset about it. I lost my husband to Dwayne Martin, and they became better friends than what my husband and I did. I couldn't understand why, for the love of God, he became disrespectful by introducing my husband to other women and women that we actually knew as friends and associates. I can't stand Will and Dwayne's friendship. She feels like Will is showing off to him by hanging out with him all the time and bringing him on lavish trips while she stays at home alone herself. Will Smith and Dwayne Martin sitcom co-star Lisa Ray, we all said that Dwayne was the cause of her own divorce. She claimed that when I introduced him to my ex-husband, he became friendly with him and turned against me when I learned about him amid rumors surrounding Will and Jada's divorce. I tweeted, "Sounds familiar. He really doesn't have enough business." The reports that he will be placed on the DL persisted and gained more traction. According to Alexis Arquette, his first marriage ended when Sherry, his first wife, discovered him having an affair. I will pay attention to Jada and her spouse when they come out as gay and acknowledge that their first marriage ended when she caught him working for Medina, Jada's sugar daddy. Alexis wrote Trisha Paytas also accused him of allegedly forcing her male dancers to sleep with him. How about worry about your cheating husband? My male dancers, when they didn't want to. How about talk about that? Well, this is what Bao had to say about Will and Dwayne. So 3 minutes later, after them telling me, "Hey, you got eyes on Will, you got we need him to come watch this." So I'm running all over the studio. He's not in his dressing room. I go to the cafeteria. I'm like, but I see his car there. I'm like, where is this guy at? So I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having with Will. Let me process that for a second. There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch and Dwayne was standing up like it was. But there was one person who was not shocked by any of this. It's Jaguar Wright, because according to her, if Will could serve up his own son, nobody's off limits. She also brought up how the feds have been investigating Diddy for a long time in suspicion of doing bad things to young boys. Back in 2013, there are reports that Diddy was being investigated by federal agencies for sleeping with young boys. According to reports during a debriefing session with federal investigators, Rosamund James, the music manager, started using cocaine. According to a U.S. District Court filing, a prosecutor then questioned Kingpin about entertainers' intimate preferences, including but not limited to Sean Combs having intimate relationships with underage boys. Kingpin was reportedly questioned about the sexual preferences of entertainers, including whether Diddy Combs was having intimate relationships with underage boys. Diddy's personal bodyguard, additionally, Gene, disclosed that all those involved in the industry were aware of Diddy's purported affinity for boys. These individuals are aware that Diddy has been acting in this way and attempting to do sex activities with other males. If anyone has been plagued by low-key rumors as much as Diddy, it's him. The rumors seem to go on forever, and they're not just whispers from the gossip grapevine, they're insiders within the industry itself. There were stories about him trying to get Chris Brown. There were stories about, those young boys that he had a groupie 5 or something like that trying to get them There are a lot of stories in this industry about not just him but also other people. When you start connecting the dots between Diddy and their alleged involvement with younger people, it's not unreasonable to consider the possibility of them having private encounters together. Fans were quick to respond, believing that there is no way Will Smith is innocent and that these rumors have been whispered for some time, just like Diddy's have been. Jaden allegedly stated that this is the reason he attempted to emancipate himself at the age of 15, as he could barely stand his parents, especially his mother, who not only allegedly encouraged his dad's bad behavior but also humiliated him further by beginning this messy affair with Augustina. I need to know what you think about the situation, but first, respect Diddy and Will's talent. However, as people, it's part of the Holly weird circle and rituals for them. The truth is stranger than fiction, and we now know why Will was okay with the entanglement. She knows too much. They are pansexuals and Holly weird. None of this is surprising. It's been going on for years. Very famous people taught Diddy and Will the game. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below and watch the next video after you decide whether you think Jaguar's narrative about these odd encounters with Diddy and Will is credible or if you think she is exaggerating the situation.